Welcome to another tutorial on MATLAB. In this tutorial, we will see the first code generation from the model that we have created and also see what are the things that will get generated and how to interpret that from a C programming point of view to analyze things. In the previous tutorial, we have seen how to create a plant model, how to create a controller model, and also how to create a test harness to test a particular unit of the block or the model. To see those tutorials, please look into the previous videos in this playlist. Along with that, we have also covered in the last tutorial the model properties or model callbacks. Get a glimpse of those things, please have a look into the previous tutorial. In this tutorial, we will see how to generate a code from the MATLAB model we have. So let's get started with the code generation. As you can see, this is the model that we have already created. So now it is properly simulatable. We have defined the values also in the init callback. Now we will go to the top level here and we will press on this build button. This is called build button, and when you press on this build button, your code will be generated and it will be displayed as a HTML report so that you can have a look into what are the content that is present when you do the code generation. So as we can see here, we are not able to see the HTML report that is generated. So now what we need to do, we need to do some settings. This usually happens when you go for the code generation. So first thing, create the generated code report and also open it when it is generated. Open it automatically. This setting we need to keep. We need to keep the fixed solver as a setting because we are going for the code generation, and in this case we are setting it simulation time of 0.01. Suppose I want to generate the model, build the model again, then this generation report will be opened because I choose those options. You will have multiple reports. Now you will have some content generated on the left hand side. So first is the summary, next is the subsystem report, and then is the code interface report. So we will see all these reports one by one and we'll try to analyze what basically is being generated. Here system target is GRT TLC and it is generated on this particular type of machine, and we are using this particular MATLAB version. Okay, so here all will be the author name. In this case, we will be seeing the subsystem report. So here in the subsystem report, so what basically the code generation is implementing like inline method. So for every subsystem, it is not creating a different function, but it is having all the content inline inside the main function. So there is no additional function will be created, but everything will be there inside the function that will be running over time. And this method usually auto by default. So auto will make it either inline or it will be making a separate function for the subsystem. But if you select auto, mostly it goes for inline. So both are the same type, subsystem 1 and subsystem 2, because we have two subsystems. One is controller model and one is. Now in the code interface report, we will have description of different functions that is being created in the C code. So let's see like what basically these functions usually do. So the first part is the init function. So definitely whatever the code that will be generated is going to some hardware or it will be running standalone. In that case, when the execution process starts, before that, maybe we need to set something. Some variable need to be updated. Like in our case, we are setting the mass, the wheel radius, the maximum brake torque, and the maximum torque due to the throttle. In that case, we need to initialize these values. In such a case, this init function will take care of that. Next is one more function that is present in the downside, which is called a step function. So you can see the names here and here. These are the function categories. So if you see these, so step function, what it will do, it will call the function, like the hardware will call this particular function, or the software that is inside the hardware, that will be called every 0.01 second. So in this case, why it is coming as 0.01 second? Because we have set the sample time as 0.01 second. So that's why every time the execution is going on, this particular function will be called repeatedly. The step function will be called repeatedly over time, and when it will be called, it will be called every 0.01 second. So this is how the step function executes. So the heart of the code generation part is the step function. So whatever the logic that is being designed inside the MATLAB main canvas is included in the step function. The next function that is there is the terminate function. So this function executes, like, it is somehow similar to the init function. Init function executes when the initialization part need to be done, and termination function will execute when the model simulation is about to end, like we have to stop the execution. Then once the execution stopped, what are the things that we need to take care of? So that thing usually being defined in this termination function. So this is all about different functions, and the header files are correspondingly written in feature_1.h. Now these are the values corresponding to individual blocks which are there. So this is how you can read a code interface report. Now let's go into the c.c file, which is related to this feature. So feature_1.c. Basically the name will be same as your model name. So let's go to the init function. So here there are some functions that are being defined inside. So here and now this is the step function where you will have things being called repeatedly over time. So these are the things that will be called repeatedly over time with every 0.001 second interval. And also in the comment section you will be able to see like which particular thing is related to which block. So controller model related blocks are here, unit delay related block is here, like code related to that particular block. This is the manual switch. So everything that we have defined in the state chart or the model, that is being implemented over the C code that we are getting over here. So everything is defined properly here. So basically these are the logics that we have implemented in the Stateflow chart. We will see a detailed analysis of this in further videos. As this is the first part of the code generation, we have to look into what are the things that is being generated. So if you click on the terminate hyperlink, then in that case there is no content present because we do not have any terminate. But in the init function we will have something mentioned which is starting and ending with this curly braces, and we are defining things here. So if we click on this particular function, this is the header file related to this C function. So here as we have defined something like as a mass as some value, vehicle mass as some value, vehicle tire will have some radius. So those things are defined here as a macro. If you see down, then you will be able to see those values here. These are the values that are being defined against, and those names are also being changed, real underscore the variable name. So these are the temporary variables, so that's why it is written as underscore t. And once it is defined, we will be giving some values. So those values will be present Okay, these are the initialization value for individual. Basically, these functions are defined as extern. Why? Because we will be using it over time. So here it is ending the def function, so starting and ending, and these are some additional libraries that are being defined. Now the third file, that is their feature underscore data.c. If we see into that file, then we will be able to see what are the data that is being entered inside the values. For bmax we have set the value 500, for tmax we have set the value of 1000. For variable m, we have set the value of 1050. So these are the things that we have defined already in the callback. So that appearing on the data feature underscore data.c. So these are also related things. So these are the basic files that usually get created, and these are the report files. The top content part is the reports, and down part are the generated codes, which could be .c and .h, and these report contains different variable traceability. So this is how the code generation looks like in MATLAB for a particular model that we have. In case you are liking our channel, please consider subscribing for the latest upcoming videos. In case you have any comment or any suggestion, please share it in the comment box so that we can improve the experience of learning MATLAB in this particular channel. Have a good day and happy learning MATLAB.